right, we're 3 episodes into Before. Do we know anything more about this nightmare? Let's talk about Before episode 3. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and today I'm going to talk to you about Before Season 1, Episode 3, The Liar, which is coming to Apple TV Plus on November 1st, 2024. It is the third episode in the Before series. It's a 10-episode arc, so we are just getting started, but we are starting to get some interesting insights into this strange case. Now, should you watch this episode? Is this episode worth your time? My hot take is I think you should watch it. This was an okay episode, but better than the first episode. Not as good as the last episode. The last episode I loved, but I definitely think you should watch it. It is an interesting series, and there's enough here that I think we're going to have some big revelations coming up. I liked a lot about this. I loved the ending. I thought the ending was really good. I thought it was interesting because there was one spot where there could have been like a perfect ending to the episode, but they kept going, which I thought was fun. And we get some new revelations in this series. So I definitely think you should check it out. Look, it's only 3 episodes in. It could go off the rails. I didn't love the first episode. I really liked the second episode. This episode was good, but not as great as the last episode. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep checking it out and kind of seeing what this mystery is. So I definitely think you should watch it and come along with me. But I'm gonna tell you a little about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, you might not. There are some surprises. There's a big revelation at the end. I would turn off when they get there. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So remember at the end of episode 2, Eli was playing the mad game with Noah, and he kept asking him what made him mad. And at the very end, Noah dropped this revelation in like Eli's voice. I can't take much more of this, which is something that Eli had said earlier. And it seems much more sinister coming from Noah. It seems like that is something related to whatever is going on with Eli. So this episode continues right after that. Eli is trying to figure out where this came from, how Noah knew this, and also where to go next. And where he goes next leads to some very disturbing new revelations for all of us. So, things I liked about this episode. The first, I still love Jacobi Jupe. I think he's fantastic. I think he is a great actor. I think his character really gives us a lot of the heart and unsettling aspects of this episode. He has to do so many different things. He's got to like be afraid. He's got to be sinister. He has to do some horrible things in some dreams. And so I definitely think that his character is probably the thing that I like the most about this. Billy Crystal's character is fine. I don't love some of the lines. I don't love all of his, dialogue, but I think Jacobi Jupe's character is the best part about this. Second thing I loved. I love the revelations. We do get some new revelations. We get some information. Some things that I kind of suspected are made clear, although they're not really made clear. They're at least reinforced here, which I thought was interesting. And the last thing I loved, I like the ending. The ending makes me want to see the next episode, makes me want to figure out what happens next, which is always a good sign for a series that it makes you want to keep going. So, things I didn't love as much. The first, I'll call it dreams within dreams. There's a lot of like very unsettling things in this episode, but they tend to be in dreams, which is fine, but also a little bit kind of like discouraging when I want to, when I want some of this like weird, grotesque stuff to happen, but it all is in dreams. And it feels like it's a constant thing where like something shocking will happen and they'll be like, oh, it's a dream. And it feels like that's just like a quick way to explain away some stuff and like shock the viewer. And the second thing I didn't love as much, I'll call it unexplained things. There's some aspects about this whole whatever is going on that are still unexplained. I'm sure we'll find out more later, but I don't know. There's some things that are like fairly obviously like spiritual, or like there's some things that seem to be very supernatural, and we still don't know what's going on, and they're not part of the dreams, so it's not just a dream unless it's a big, big dream that Eli's having. So I'd like to know what is going on. We just still haven't gotten there yet. So all that being said, Before Season 1, Episode 3 comes to Apple TV Plus on November 1st, 2024. I think you should check it out. I think you should, watch this series. It's pretty quick episodes. It's pretty interesting. I do like that there's still some mystery left, and it seems like we are going to be getting some more revelations very soon. So definitely check it out. If you do watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So Eli is in the park listening to that statement from Noah, the one that says, I can't take much more of this. And his friend is also there, listening to it saying, that sounds just like you. And he also says that maybe Eli is looking for a message in here, like a message from Lynn. His friend says, like, it makes sense. Like, this big event happened. You're trying to find like other connections. And so maybe you're like thinking too much into this. Now, Eli is clearly obsessed with this case. He's trying to figure out what happened. He has a ton of notes on it, but he's also reliving some of those dreams. One of the things that he's reliving is when Noah stabbed him in the neck with a pen. That was a dream. But he relives that. And then also later, he looks on his neck and sees like a mark from where that pen was. And he starts like digging at it and eventually like digs and like tears off some of his flesh. But that's another dream. Again, I was like, oh, cool. We're going to get some weird supernatural things here. But no, they're all dreams. Now, later, he's talking to his therapist, and she also wants him to talk about Lynn, his wife. Everyone seems to want him to talk about Lynn, which makes sense because that was a big event, but and he does not say anything about it. Seems suspicious, doesn't it? Later, Eli has a session with Noah where he hypnotizes him and wants him to go back to his earliest memory. I remember a very strong feeling from that. And when this happens, Noah sees something in the ceiling and the ceiling starts freezing. And Noah starts to get like very scared. And Eli asks him to draw what is scaring him. And he draws a picture of someone getting stabbed in the neck, which, yeah, that would be scary. And so he draws this picture for Eli. And then after he draws this, he looks up at Eli and says, I hurt him. Something's wrong with me. And then Noah's lips start turning blue and like his breath turns cold, like icy. Like his breath is like there's clearly a chill around him. And I was like, this should be a sign, right? Like his lips are turning blue. That is not normal. That's, that's not psychosomatic. That is like actually his, lips are freezing. And it feels like there's something supernatural here. Uh, Eli doesn't really notice this. He just kind of like takes his jacket off and helps Noah stay warm. But I feel like that would be something that you would write down. Like, seems to have supernatural powers. I don't know. Later, Eli goes to dinner at his daughter's place, and his daughter also wants him to talk about his wife's death. Everyone wants him to talk about Lynn. Makes sense. They talk for a little bit, and then he eventually goes to the bathroom and washes up. And when he's in there, he sees Lynn again. And it feels like maybe he's like haunted by her. I can't tell if it's like psychosomatic or if like Lynn is actually haunting him. When he sees Lynn, she makes a comment about the conversation he and his daughter just had, and he looks at her and says, "Would you just stop?" Now his daughter hears this, and then they have a fight about like what's going on because she's like, "What are you saying?" He's like, "It's nothing. It's nothing." It's like, "You're talking to no one. Of course it's something." While they're having a fight, his granddaughter, his daughter's daughter, comes up to him and has a gift for Graham. It's a cupcake with a candle in it. And after she gives this to him, she sees the picture that Noah had drawn earlier, and she says he's stabbing the bad thing on his neck. And then Eli takes a closer look at this picture, and we see there's like a black, it looks like almost a shadow. I didn't even notice it. It looks like it could be shading or a shadow, but there's like a black kind of triangle on the neck. And so that is the tentacle that Noah saw, but no one else saw. And so his Eli's granddaughter realizes that this person is getting stabbed in this bad thing on the neck. So meanwhile, Noah is freaking out. His room is getting cold. There's like a glass of water on there that starts freezing. He is like going through he's going through shock. We don't see what happens, but we do see Eli arrives later. After this revelation with his granddaughter, Eli's like, I've got to go, I've got to go. And he goes straight to Noah to talk to him. Now, when he gets there, we find out that Noah almost drowned, which is kind of crazy because he's in a psych ward. There's no water. They say that he had a cup of water, but like, how do you drown from a cup of water? That's very, very difficult. So they do say his lungs were filled with water. Again, supernatural. There's something supernatural going on there. There has to be. But they can't explain it, but they are treating this like a suicide attempt. Like Noah tried to kill himself by, I don't know, drowning himself in water he didn't have. So he has to go to where there's more security. Now Eli's like, no, I don't want him to go there. How are you going to protect him there? You couldn't protect him here. I want him to come with me, which I think is weird. I feel like that is not normal. Like if anything, they would release him to his guardian or his foster parent, not to his psychologist. But Eli seems to like want Noah to come with him, which again I thought was very weird, but it's fine. They don't do it. They don't do it. But he does say that he wants to go see him. He goes to talk to Noah and he explains, like, I saw your picture. I know that you were just trying to like hurt that thing that was trying to hurt that boy. And then he asks if like someone had tried to hurt Noah. And Noah says, you won't be mad, will you? And Eli says, of course not. And Noah says, you did. And I thought that's the perfect place to end this episode. What a revelation. They keep going, which is fine because it does have a good ending eventually. Now, after this, Eli goes to his own therapist and he finally opens up about Lynn and he tells her what happened when she died. And he says that she was on chemo, it was up and down, but she was having a good day. So Eli went out for a bit. He went out for about an hour. He went to the pool and you're like, oh, to swim. And we see like, no, he was just like creeping on younger people. Like all we see when he said he went to the pool is like some lady swimming by in a swimsuit and he was like looking at her. Then He said he went to get Chinese food and he wanted to get egg drop soup because that was the only thing that Lynn could always eat. So he goes to the pool to creep, he gets some food, and he comes back. And then when he gets back, he said that she was in the bathtub, she'd already committed suicide, and she was dead, and there was nothing he could do. The therapist then says, "Is there something more you want to tell me?" And he says, "No." And then Lynn appears, this ghost of Lynn that's always haunting him, and she and the therapist at the same time say, "Are you sure?" And this causes him to kind of freak out, and he says, like, "I gotta go, I've gotta go." And as he's leaving, Lynn calls him a liar. So he's the liar. This episode's called The Liar. He's a liar. I wonder if every episode has been named after him. But he runs out of the office and goes outside and he's freaking out. And then we see a little bit more in his head. We see the corpse in the bathtub, the corpse of Lynn that he's, said he found, opens his eyes. And then we see Eli with his hands around that corpse's neck or that, Lynn's neck, and Lynn like gasping and Eli strangling her. And that's the end. That's the episode. So what can we take from this? Well, probably the conventional thought is that Eli ended up killing Lynn, and that's why he hasn't talked about her. Her ghost or some other vengeful spirit is now inhabiting Noah to get vengeance on him. That's why all this stuff involves water. That's why Noah like almost drowned. That's why he keeps telling Eli things that he probably said to Lynn, like, "I can't take much more of this," or "You hurt me," things like that. So that would be my general thought. Now, one thing I'm not sure about is like when that corpse of Lynn looked up, it looked like a corpse. Like it looked like a dead Lynn. So I don't know if that was, symbolic. Like maybe he was happy that she was dead or what, or maybe she tried to kill herself, but she was still alive. And then when he saw that she was still alive, he ended up strangling her. I feel like they would still have like found evidence of her death if he'd strangled her, even if she tried to kill herself. Like there would be bruising on the neck. There might be a, like crushed hyoid bone, something like that. But maybe they didn't do an autopsy. Maybe they saw someone who like had killed themselves. They were on chemo. They were like going, and so maybe they just like didn't even think about it. But so that's my general guess. I think Eli did end up killing Lynn, and this whole thing is like Lynn coming back to haunt him to like make him come to terms with what he did. So that is my thought. We'll find out if we get any more revelations next week, but that is before. Like I said, I think you should watch this episode. It's been getting better. It's given us enough that like keeps me intrigued, keeps me want to learn more, and I'm definitely going to watch the next episode next week. So if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.